Okay, it's just a rolling chassis. That's a Gladius. A Gladius. How cool! How cool does that look? I do like a lot of the stuff they do here. I like all the little bits and whatnot. That's awesome.
There we go.
That sounds good.
Sounds good. Upper gears, very smooth.
Yeah.
They're nice and smooth, both up and down shift. Lower gears, I still think it needs a little bit of tweaking.
Well, I know you can adjust the sensitivity of it, as we discussed in the last blog.
Yeah.
Via the gear shifter and ignition, blah blah blah. But yeah, that sounds well.
The top three gears, like third to fourth, fourth to fifth, fifth to sixth, up and down, ever so smooth. Really nice and smooth.
That's what I'm hoping for, because it was just the inconsistency of the downshift. Sometimes it just would be clunky. Sometimes I'm just hoping that maybe this mechanism might help. This HM quick shifter mechanism might help. It might not. But
I think it's one of the best aftermarket blipper quick shifters. That's out.
Right, we're just going to do a quick air fuel on this to see what difference this can has made, even though I don't know if we did the air fuel as standard. I can't remember, I think we might have just done a power run, but maybe you did the air fuel on a different...
Yeah, I've got air fuel runs for standard bikes.
You have got them,
so
brilliant. So we'll do a comparison. Then we'll do a top speed run just because it was on here to check the quick shifter, and why the hell not? Yeah, that's right.
A couple of different gears, so our best in fourth gear, I think 17.
18253.
That was our last speed run. So our best, we can ignore this power figure because it's not true figure, because it's not done over RPM, it's done over speed. So we can get rid of that. Fueling wise, so we're picking up from 40 miles per hour, which it was about 3,000 RPM on the dash, so it's okay. It's within sort of its realms down the bottom, and then it goes sort of reasonably lean, like 13 to 7, but it's still okay. Then sort of this is your mid-range area, so this is probably 8 to probably 9.5. It's going rich, so we're down at sort of 12.5 air fuel ratio, and then it goes a lot richer. We're down to 11.9 on our air fuel ratio, and our optimum where we want to be is about 13.1.
Gotcha.
So it's a fair bit. Then it goes back off lean again. this is probably around 10.
Yeah.
Up to 13.8, and then at the top end, it's there or
off,
thereabouts. Yeah, 12.8. But yeah, as you can see in the mid-range area, there is improvements that can be made.
Yeah, which we can do when we put on the rapid bike unit.
Yeah,
and all that.
which is on the rapid bike. So I expect we should see a few horsepower gain.
Yeah.
With this setup that we've got,
and a bit smoother.
And smoother by sorting out the fueling.
So how does that? So this is with the Yoshi Canon. How does that compare to a standard
one? Standard bike.
Standard air fuel ratio.
Let's take my middle one. Oh, I've got one over here. We should have one. So yes, a standard bike.
That's quite different in places.
Yeah.
Oh, it's complete opposite there.
Complete opposite, right down at the bottom end.
Yeah.
But our mid-range area, it's similar.
Ish, yeah. Then a big gap.
Going from lean to rich to lean, and then right at the top end, pretty much the same.
Okay.
It is.
So what would have with the can going on? Because obviously it doesn't replace the it still goes on to the main collector
box. Yeah, it's got all our cats and. So
what causes this here? This richness here, where the standard bike's running lean?
It'd just be the way the can's designed with
yeah.
Just like the packing inside the can and the way that the length of the can,
right?
The length of the can will play a part in it, and the actual shape of it and the way the gases flow through it, the perforated tube inside, the diameter and the way it tapers. It might be a straight through, might taper out on the exit, might actually get smaller on the exit.
Could it also be the ECU going, oh, something's different here?
Yeah, the ECU, because obviously we're still running our standard closed loop fueling system. With our lambda sensor, the ECU will make small changes. That's mainly in the lower section of the fueling area, sort of up to 20% throttle.
Right.
It overrides that area, but it will still monitor at the top end and will make small changes if it feels it needs to.
Yeah, it doesn't make big changes, obviously, but we know a few. As we found out on the Yamaha MT10, the modern ones can make small changes all by themselves now, which is quite impressive. The only bummer is with the Suzuki GSX-R and other bikes, ZX10, we have to faff about after we do a dyno run, don't we?
Yeah, we got.
What do we have to do, Wills?
Because obviously the front wheel's not turning and the rear wheel is. We got a speed sensor fault, so we got to plug in, put the laptop, and turn that off.
Right, so there you go. For anyone who's been asking about air fuel ratios and stuff, that is it, I suppose. Not really my cup of tea, but I can understand why some people are interested in it. So, a bit more on the Gixxer. As you can see, we did a top speed run. We didn't really talk about it much there, but the Gixxer topped out at 180 miles an hour, which on the dyno, which partly explains why the acceleration is so fast on it, because it is pretty rampant through the mid-range, but it just seems like it's geared slightly lower. But some bikes are geared differently. The Panigale FE that we tested last week hit 200 on the dyno, whereas that little beauty there tops out at 190. But anyway, the Gixxer. So as you can see right at the start, I had got the new rod from HM, because they now supply rods with the HM shifter. It's so much sharper on the uptake. It's pap 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 pap. It's brilliant. But on the downshift, still a tiny bit better most of the time, but still a tiny bit inconsistent. Now, I do think that the inconsistency, we reckon it might still be too sensitive, because it's set for about 50%, and we think that turning the sensitivity down a little bit, this is talking with HM quick shifters, might actually make the downshift a bit better. However, I'm going to wait, because obviously we've had the recall. Now, America had it before us, and now we've got it, and it is to do with gear changing stuff. And funnily enough, in the wording of the press release, they talk about it's possible that you can try to change up into second gear, and it will go into like a neutral, and it will rev really high. Funny enough, the day that came in, I've never had anything like that at all. The day that came in, I was riding home, and that exact thing happened, and I thought, that is bizarre. It's never happened before, but it happened that time. So I did a bit of experimenting. Now, I've never had too many problems with like the downshift blipper, apart from the inconsistency of its working action on some corners on track, tiny bit on the road. But I've never really had too many problems with it unless my boot has been lingering near the lever, and I discovered that this popping into neutral thing, I got the bike to do it again in the same journey by just having a tiny bit of like just my boot just kind of touching it without my boot touching it, so making sure my toes are back on the peg before changing gear. I haven't had any problems at all, but I can see why Suzuki want to try and sort this out. I'm not going to change the sensitivity on the HM unit though until the bike has had its ECU replaced, which is what we're kind of all expecting. It's a little bit dark in here, turn the light on. Until it's had its ECU replaced. So I'll get to the HM thing at a later date once the bike goes back and all that. But for the moment, it's a mega thing, and it's so sharp when you change up gear now. You probably saw it on the dynos. It's mega. A couple of other things that I've noticed with the Gixxer, and I wonder if any other owners have had this. Quite often when I start it, whether or not I leave it ticking over or whatnot, the ABS light fails to go off sometimes when I pull away, so I have to stop, turn the ignition off, turn it back on again, and then the ABS light will go off. And I've no idea if this means that the ABS isn't working, and I've no idea why it does it, but it seems to be happening a little more often. I've also had it kind of cough out on me, but that's usually when I've started up and gone to ride it pretty immediately, so that's kind of really my fault. Other points of order: the T31 Bridgestone tyres, for this time of year, they're so good. They're so good. They really are good. Although, like everyone else, I'm waiting for this. You know, I'll be more happy when the sun comes out and I can start to get some stickier stuff on. What else was there? I'm struggling to think. Oh yeah, sorry. A couple of other things. I've been speaking to Suzuki because it would be remiss of me to not use some of their own official lines. So here we have. This is an official Suzuki pair of scissors. No, it's an official Suzuki carbon mudguard, and very nice it is too. When I fit it in a future blog, I will say how much it is and the rest of it. And we also have here a Suzuki double bubble screen, because I'm 6'2", a little bit tall, so I always like to put double bubble screens on my bike. The other thing that is going to go on it when they get in stock is Suzuki do, around the ram air ducts and stuff, Suzuki do a carbon version of that, but they're out of stock at the moment, so I'm still waiting for that to come back. And then I will at some point do hopefully the next thing I'm going to do is the rapid bike unit and the fueling. But again, I was just saying, do I wait until this ECU thing gets sorted or not? I mean, I'm still waiting for, again, the recalls come out, but I'm still waiting, because it's a Suzuki UK bike, I'm still waiting for them to say, you need to get it back here now to get it done. So, I don't know, maybe I'll do something else. But otherwise, for this episode anyway, HM quick shifter, brilliant. More to come on that. Awesome new stuff there. Bridgestone T31s, brilliant, really like them this time of year. And that's about it. As usual, any questions, anything you want to know, anything you might want me to try out on the bike, just shout, and if we can do it, or if I can do it, sorry, I will. Bye.